Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Gold with only Remoraid was a surprisingly fast solo run. Let's follow that up with a fun team run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Pearl with a team of only version exclusives? You know the drill. We can only use Pokemon that are in Pearl but not in Diamond. Well, just like in Diamond, the list is long, but in reality, most of these Pokemon are in post-game, so there's actually only 4 exclusives that we get to use. Sheldon, Glameow, Misdrevious, and Palkia. Like always, I'm writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm sure I can, but just looking at the team makes me think that this will be harder than the Diamond exclusive run. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use version exclusives. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Piplup with Sheldon, so that we can do the whole run with it. Same reason as in the Diamond Exclusives run, starting with the fossil Pokemon means that we don't need to hunt around in the underground later. Our nature is serious, so neutral stat gains. I figure that's fine. We absolutely don't need more defense, and our attack is going to be low no matter what, so I see nothing wrong with going neutral. Alright, early game travel. I gotta say, it's slow, but I guess it's steady. We're insanely tanky for this early in the game, but we really don't hit hard. Normally in these Pokemon Challenge runs, I'd argue that offense is usually more important than defense. Part of that is because being able to make things faint quickly leads to a faster run. Part of that is that making things faint quickly means grinding is way faster, and part of that is that even if we can survive a ton of hits, giving them lots of chances to attack us means that they have a lot of time to use status afflictions, buffs, and debuffs. This is a team run though, so defense isn't totally useless or anything. As part of a team, this Sheldon might be pretty awesome. The problem is that for a while, we're only gonna have a Sheldon. We get Misdrevious after the first gym, but then it's just the two of us all the way until at the Steel gym when we can get Glameow. We get it far later than we get Stunky in the Diamond run a month back. This might be a pretty hard run. Let's see how the Rival and the Rock gym go. Personally, I think the Rival will be easy but slow since we're probably gonna have to deal with Growl spam, but the Rock gym might just be a loss. So the first Rival fight went about how I expected. Super slow thanks to us doing almost no damage and him using Growl and Withdraw, so it was a chip fight. Normally I don't use speed up during Pokemon battles because I think it looks kind of ugly in the video, but I treat this basically like a Shuckle run. It's Pokemon Pearl, so it's already crazy slow with the text boxes, and neither us nor our rival were doing almost any damage. It was either I use speed up while mashing tackle and the fight takes a minute, or I don't use speed up and I mash tackle and the fight takes at least 4 or 5. I think you can understand why I decide that it doesn't matter if the footage looks slightly better for the battle. Now, if we're doing almost no damage to our rival, how badly is this gonna go with the Rock gym? We don't learn a single move that they don't resist until level 28. So I'm thinking that I should just bite the bullet and learn Rock Smash. It's not exactly a great move, but if the alternative is grinding until level 28, then I think we've gotta. So at level 12, I give the gym a try. This fight is super long, so I'll give you the overview. They don't actually attack us very much since they can tell that they wouldn't do much damage, but that also means that they go for debuffs a lot. We only have 15 power points on Rock Smash, and they have 2 potions, so it's really important that we get defense drops early on. Geodude isn't that bad, but Onix can be a problem because it loves spamming Screech to drop our defense. It's not really all that dangerous by itself, but when we get past it, we're low on power points and super low on defense, so the super strong Cranidos just takes us out easily right after. I think I'm gonna have to be more like level 15 or 16 before we stand a chance, so I'll go grind for a little bit. Grinding here is awful, by the way. We don't hit hard, so it's not like we're one-shotting stuff. And we have to run away half the time because Machop can easily take us out. We're super weak to fighting moves, even with our great defense. It's just not an easy grind. I'm really holding out hope that we might not need many level ups before we can win, because I get the feeling that once the Rock Gym is done, we'll have slow but smooth sailing until we can get Misdrevious. So I try more at level 15 and things go more or less the same. We always get hit by Screech a lot and go down pretty early because of that. We are getting close to winning on some of the tries though, as we can sometimes get Craniados to red health. Maybe 2 more levels will do it? Hey, would you look at that? 2 levels later, and we don't get hit by Screech as much, so we have a pretty easy time taking Craniados out at the end. Finally! That grind was getting really slow. Alright, that means that the only thing between us and our Misdreavious is Commander Mars. Now, I don't really think that she's gonna be all that hard. We're part Steel type, so we don't have to worry about Toxic, and I really doubt that Purugly has any moves that we don't resist, so I think we'll be fine. Plus, Rock Smash is super effective, so I don't think we're gonna have any problems there. I'm kinda worried about the Grass Gym after that, but at least we'll have 2 Pokemon by that time, so maybe we'll stand a chance. Yeah, that's what I thought. Commander Mars just didn't stand a chance against us. We might not hit hard at all, but we're also nearly indestructible if they don't have the right moves. That means we finally got our second Pokemon, Misdreavious. I had to catch a few before I got one with a good nature, but this one is Rash. That's more special attack and less special defense. It's not exactly perfect, but I'm happy with it. Problem is, it's only level 10 and it won't get decent attacking moves until level 23, so I think I'm gonna have to grind it up for quite a while before we can beat the Grass Gym. I'm still gonna try it whatever level we get there at though. So, the Grass Gym doesn't just go badly, it goes horribly. The Cherubi at the start pretty much dooms us. We had to keep switching things to Leech Seed, Grass Knot could seriously mess up Shieldon, and the only one who could do any real damage was Misdreavious, and only when she got lucky with Psywave. I hate that move. You know it's dire when we have to resort to Psywave. We did eventually take the Cherubi down, but Turtwig easily finished us off. I think that I'm gonna have to seriously grind Misdreavious up to level 23 to learn Psybeam. It's not an amazing move, but I figure that between Metal Sound on Shieldon and Psybeam on Misdreavious, we could stand a chance. It's gonna take forever to do that grind though, considering we are grinding with Psywave and Astonish. Alright, so I got Misdreavious up to level 23 and got Psybeam, and things went much better. Using the 1-2 punch of Metal Sound and Psybeam made short work of our whole team. We actually got unlucky and missed a Metal Sound against Roserade, but our Quick Claw kicked in, and we got one on the next turn before getting taken out by Magical Leaf. I get the feeling that using Metal Sound and then a special move on Misdreavious is how we're going to be winning a lot of fights in this run. Okay, I'm really not sure how I feel about the upcoming parts of the run. We have a Commander Jupiter fight that will probably not be very hard, a rival fight in the next town that could be a problem, and then a couple of gyms that I think will be pretty hard. I wish I could get the Earthquake TM right after beating Jupiter, but in Diamond and Pearl, you actually need Strength to get it, so that'll have to wait for quite a while. You can't use Strength outside of combat until after the Steel Gym. Plus, for as amazing of a move as it is, we won't be great with it. Shieldon is Steel and Rock, not Ground. Plus, you know, low attack. I think a lot of fights are really going to be up to Misdreavious to do most of the damage, although I'm sure once Shieldon evolves, it'll be doing at least some damage. Let's see how Jupiter goes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Zubat was quick and easy, and although Skuntank wasn't exactly hard, it did take a long time thanks to its spamming Smokescreen. I would take it out with Psybeam if not for how it's part Dark type, something that I kept forgetting in my Diamond exclusive run. Hey, you remember the Diamond exclusive run when I called this Skuntank a Stunky? Some people thought that was me making fun of it for being weak, but I genuinely misremembered it because it was so easy to take down. I mean that, and because both Stunky and Skuntank look really similar from the front sprite in this game. Actually, there's a fun question. What evolutions do you always mix up? Are there any Pokemon that look just like something else in their evolution line and you mix them up? Because for me, apparently it's Stunky and Skuntank. Alright, our rival right after was crazy easy, partly because he was just picking bad moves. I guess the rival is overall easier in Diamond and Pearl though. Isn't it wild how trainers just pick random moves in this game? I mean, I'm sure it's not 100% random, but it really does seem to be mostly random. Alright, I guess that I'm gonna go after the Fighting Gym first, although I don't really know how either Fighting or Water Gym are gonna go. I think I'll grab the TM for Dig before I go to the Ground Gym on the off chance that I could actually use it to beat Lucario, but it's a long shot. We're super slow and we're weak to fighting moves, so I'll probably need a Quick Claw to kick in for that to work. Plus, with our low attack, I don't think it's going to be a one-shot. I'm going to have to evolve a Shieldon before we get there. Then there's the Water Gem, and I just have no idea how I'm gonna win that one beyond brute forcing it with Misdrevious. I just hope that Shieldon will be able to hold on long enough to use Metal Sound on all of them so that we can hopefully just take them out with Psybeam. It's hard to say. This might be a really hard part of the run coming up. I'll make sure to grab the TM for Return on the way. No point in using it now though. I'm saving it for when we have Glameow. First up at the fighting gym is Meditite, who just flinches to Astonish, so we easily two-shot it without getting hurt. Second is Machoke, who survived a Psybeam with an absolute sliver, so we got hit by Rock Tomb, but it wasn't too bad. We finished it off right after by using Astonish and Psybeam after it healed. Last is Lucario, and I decided to use Bastiodon so that I could set up Metal Sound first. We ended up surviving Bone Rush, we missed Metal Sound, but then Quick Claw kicked in and we went first on the second round to hit Metal Sound before fainting. Thanks to that, we were able to get a two-shot with Psybeam with Misdrevious. That's great, I can't believe we got a first try on that. Maybe the Water Gym won't be so bad then. Next is the Water Gym. We have Shadow Ball now, so Water Onix only takes 2 hits to take down, and thankfully, all he did was use Swagger and we didn't hit ourselves, so it went as well as it could. I switched to Bastiodon as Floatzel came out, and we just planned on using Metal Sound until we faint. We got crit by Brian right away to nearly faint, but then he switched to using moves like Swift and Pursuit. I mean, that was basically doing nothing, so I just switched to Mismagius as he used Pursuit again. We hit a Shadow Ball to obviously take him out in one hit, as I had totally destroyed his special defense by then. Last was Quagsire, so I hit a Metal Sound, fainted, then easily finished him off with Shadow Ball. That was a first try as well. I thought that was gonna go a lot worse. And again, after that is yet another rival fight where we didn't get hurt at all. I'm getting the feeling that our rival just isn't gonna be a problem until maybe right before the Elite Four. Hey, we're getting really close to finally catching our third Pokemon. We just have to beat the Ghost Gym so that we can surf over to where it is. I just don't think it's gonna be that useful right away since we have a Steel Gym pretty soon after, but whatever. I'm just happy that we have it so I can slap an experience share on it. We should be able to evolve it pretty fast. Honestly, I don't know what we're gonna use Purugly for. I could teach it Shadow Claw and Aerial Ace, but I'm not sure what else. Return, I guess, although it needs some friendship before it's going to be any good with it. I don't want to assume that it's going to be a dud, but it's not really going to be adding any serious type coverage to our team, so it's not exactly the most exciting catch. I think it'll probably be really easy. We'll catch our Glameow after that, probably beat the rival, and probably have an awful time at the Steel Gym. Okay, so the Ghost Gym was just a sweep with Shadow Ball, so that was nice. I kind of figured it would be. Misdrevious is by far our highest leveled Pokemon. There we go. I finally went ahead and caught our last non-legendary Pokemon, Glameow. Our nature gives us more special defense and less speed. That may actually be really good since we're pretty fast Pokemon anyway. I doubt we need extra. Now it's not great yet, but once it evolves, we'll possibly have the ability Thick Fat, and that's a pretty good one. It'll let us take less fire and ice damage. I'm really hoping for that one, but I think that there's another one that it could be. I went ahead and taught it Shadow Claw and Aerial Ace right away, but I doubt we're using it until it evolves. Now let's go fight our rival. Well, maybe one day he'll be a threat, but that day is not today. He got us with exactly 1 bite because Garottle wasn't quite a one-shot. How's the Steel Gym gonna go, though? First was Bronzer, who actually went down in 1 hit thanks to a critical Shadow Ball. I know he's not dangerous, but that absolutely needed to be a crit to make him faint. Second is Steelix, but things didn't start great. He didn't hurt us much early on, but we got paralyzed off a Dragon Breath, so things are a bit up to luck. We were taking almost no damage from his attacks though, and we got pretty lucky never getting fully paralyzed as we eventually took him out. I'm surprised he didn't hurt us more. Last is his Bastiodon, and neither of us were hurting the other very much, but then he started spamming Iron Defense for literally no reason, so we ended up taking him out with about half of our health left. Why did he do that? Alright, so we have a lot of traveling and fighting weak Plasma Goons now. While I do that, I make sure to backtrack a bit to get the Earthquake TM, now that we can use Strength outside of battle. I also pick up the TM for Thunderbolt, because I figure that Misdrevious is gonna find it super useful. Actually, Misdrevious is gonna get a lot of move upgrades soon, but that's gonna have to wait until after the Ice Gym. Now, I'm hoping I can evolve Glameow on my way, and that'll help us get through the fight because it's kind of a hard gym. Not as hard as in Platinum, but it's hailing the entire fight, and that damage can really build up. Plus, the only rock move that we have on Bastiodon just isn't all that strong. Who knows though, maybe Misdreavious will just be able to brute force most of it. She's been really strong recently. Time for the Ice Gym. This one took quite a few tries to figure out the order of who to use, but it seems like Misdreavious has a pretty easy time taking out Snover at the start. Second is Sneasel, and although her Thunderbolt hits hard, she holds on. This time she just used Taunt though, so we took no damage before making her faint beyond the hail damage. She used items to heal back up, but we just took her down before she could attack again. Third is Abomasnow, and I know it's pretty tough, so I sent Bastiodon in to set it up with Metal Sound first. Unfortunately, we got put to sleep by Grass Whistle instantly, and then confused us with Swagger, so we got to use Metal Sound once we finally woke up. Eventually, Abomasnow just used Wood Hammer twice like it should have from the start, so we fainted, but at least we dropped her special defense a little bit. Once Misdreavious came back in, one Shadow Ball finished it. Last is Medicham, possibly the weirdest wrong-type Pokemon any gym leader has in this game, and that's saying something. Knowing it might be tough, I just used Perish Song right away, and then switched to Glameow to stall. We took huge damage of course, but we managed to waste just enough time that on the same turn that Glameow fainted, Perish Song finished off Medicham. We still have Misdreavious left, so we won. Alright, with that done, we have access to some cool new stuff. The TMs for Psychic and Ice Beam are big, but even bigger is that we get the Dusk Stone to finally evolve Misdreavious into Mismagius. Misdreavious has been the real MVP of our team, so it's nice to evolve her. Then we've got both Cyrus fights, as well as that weird double battle alongside our rival. Then we can get our last Pokemon, Palkia. I think that the Cyrus fight will be easy, but we'll see. The second one could be a problem. Alright, the first Cyrus fight was easy, as expected. Most of his team is weak to electricity, so Thunderbolt did a great job. I'm not really sure how the second one will go, since we're pretty reliant on Mismagius to do any real damage, but I'm sure that with Bastiodon to help us set up, we can push past any serious issues. Next is the double battle alongside our completely useless rival. Now the funny thing is, I was expecting Mismagius to faint at some point because of how many Pokemon we have to make faint, and because of how much our partner doesn't help us, but we actually held on with a sliver by the end. Part of me wanted to use Bastiodon just to be funny and see how long I could make the fight last, but then I realized the fight would probably go for over half an hour, so I decided not to. Alright, last is the Cyrus fight. First is his Haunch Crow, so we just one-shot it with Thunderbolt with Mismagius, and second is Weavile. I knew it would mess us up, so I sent in Bastiodon to try Rock Smash. It did alright damage and lowered his defense, so I tried Rock Slide next, but ended up just going down to Brick Break. Well, that's not good. I didn't even know he had that. Out to Perugly with Slash, and we actually crit it to take it out quickly. That worked out pretty well. Water Onix was of course a one-shot with Thunderbolt, and last was Crobat, so I stayed in and used Thunderbolt once again to one-shot it. Hey, that was not a bad Cyrus fight. With that done, we finally got Palkia. Now ours is timid, so more defense and less attack. I think I'm fine with that. We're not really a physical attacker anyway. I've absolutely never used Palkia before, so I don't totally know how useful it is, but on paper it looks decent. It's a water dragon, so that's a pretty good combo. It's only weak to dragon-type moves. That's kinda nice, you know, like Kingdra. Water isn't necessarily the most useful type in late-game Gen 4, since Bertha has 2 water types, and Flint doesn't really have many actual fire types in this game, but I'm sure it's still gonna have some use. Water's not bad. Now let's go try that electric gym. I think it might be kinda hard. So first up is Raichu, who's using Charge Beam. It powers up his special attack, but instead of using it to hurt us, he uses Light Screen on the second turn, so we just Earthquake him down in 2 hits. That was weird. What's the point of charging up if you aren't gonna use it? Octillery is second, so I had Bastiodon start spamming Metal Sound to soften him up. He really wasn't hitting us that hard at all until suddenly he crit knocked Zuka to take us out. It's alright. We just totally destroyed his special defense, so Mismagius was able to come in and take it out with 1 Shadow Ball. Luxray is next, but it was taking huge damage off Shadow Ball, so although we took a bit of damage from Thunderfang, we took it out. I bet it would have been a 3-shot if not for a crit, though. Last is Ambipom. Still feels so weird for an electric gym leader to have this. It's no problem, though. I just used Perish Song and switched to Perugly to stall. He did alright damage to us, but as soon as the song ran out, he fainted and we had a pretty smooth victory. Hey, it's the road to the final battles. All that's left is the final rival fight, the Elite Four, and the champion. Now, I think that the rival could possibly be kinda hard, but it'll still probably be a first try. I don't know how the Elite Four is gonna go, though. I still think that some of them will be a first try, but I could see Lucian being a problem. It's really all up to if Miss Magius can survive very long or not. Then there's the Pokemon Champion, and I really doubt that I could beat her. I made sure to get the Dragon Pulse TM on my way through Victory Road, since I figure we're gonna need that. I think it's about as strong as Dragon Claw, but it uses special attack, and we're more of a special attacker anyway. Well, I guess I was right that this would be the hardest rifle fight, but it's just because Snorlax has Earthquake and a lot of health. It was still a really easy fight overall, where we didn't come close to fainting. All I could do was take out Bastiodon, and that's just because we're super weak to ground moves. It was no problem. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our team. Well, I kind of like the team, and our moveset is solid, but some of our team is pretty low leveled. I'm confident that we can do well, but I think that I'll need more levels first. I went around to get new items for the team like a Splash Plate, Spell Tag, Earth Plate, and a Silk Scarf to make the most out of our types. I also got some TMs like Dragon Pulse, Ice Beam, Brick Break, Avalanche, and U-Turn to try and give us better type coverage. I'm actually pretty happy with our moveset at this point. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. First up is his Dustox, who uses Light Screen right away, but Bastion's Rock Slide is doing pretty well. He raised his evasion early as we brought him to red health and used a full restore to heal back up, so I was worried this might be a long one. We hit another couple Rock Slides, but then he started really spamming Double Team, so we started missing after that. I switched to Avalanche to save on power points. A few missed and one hit that wasn't able to finish him off, but eventually, after 3 or 4 misses, we landed another to take him out. That wasn't dangerous, it just took forever. Second is Heracross, so I sent in Miss Magius to use Psychic. We did alright damage and took a good chunk from Mega Horn, but thanks to the light screen wearing off, our second Psychic took him out. Beautifly is next, so I just hit Thunderbolt knowing it's part flying type, and it worked out, getting us a one-shot. Vespiquen was next, but it actually survived Thunderbolt with a little bit of health left, and used Defense Order and then a full restore to heal back up. That's fine though, we're faster and two-shot it with Thunderbolt. Last is Drapion, so I sent Bastiodon back in to use Earthquake. It actually wasn't doing very much damage at all, so I started using Rock Slides, but that did even less, and we were of course slower. So I decided to use Metal Sound to lower his special defense instead. After a few rounds of that, I switched to Miss Magius and just finished him off with the Thunderbolt. It was a bit of a slow fight, but it wasn't too bad. Second is Ground Trainer Bertha. First is Quagsire, so I had Palkia take it down on a couple of hits with Surf, while it started a Sandstorm. I figured Palkia is the right move early on since water isn't really going to work against us. Second is Sudowoodo, so I just stayed in and used Surf twice for another knockout. Problem is, this time we got hit by Hammer Arm, so we took a lot of damage in the process. Hippowdon is third, and our Surf hit super hard, but she held on with red health, ate a berry to heal up a little bit, and then thankfully she missed a Stone Edge that probably could have made me faint. Because of that, we hit another Surf for the knockout. After that was Golem, who's double weak to water, so of course it was a one-shot with Surf, and last is Whiscash, so I switched to Miss Magius to use Shadow Ball in an attempt to brute force it. It worked great, dropping her special defense right away. She missed Rock Slide, so we just took her out on the follow-up. Easy fight. Third is Fire Trainer Flint. Rapidash is first, and of course it's faster than us and hits us with a bit of damage, but we take it out instantly with Surf. Second is Infernape, who rocks us hard with a brutal Earthquake before going down into one Surf. I mean, I'm happy that Surf is working, but our health is low, so I had to switch to Bastiodon as Steelix came out. It hit us for almost no damage with Rock Tomb, and then we hit it for almost nothing in return with Earthquake, so I quickly decided that Metal Sound was the better move. I spammed it until we got his special defense all the way down, but we took a ton of damage in the process, thanks to missing some attacks and Sunny Day powering up his Fire Fang. Eventually, we switched to Miss Magius, got hit by a weak Rock Tomb, and then one-shot him with Shadow Ball. Second from last is Driftbloom, who is obviously just a one-shot with Shadow Ball, and last was Lopunny, so I sent Palkia back into Brick Break. We actually did less damage than I was hoping for, though, probably because our attack isn't great. 2 hits brought him to low health, he just used Sunny Day and Mirror Coat, but then he held on thanks to him using Charm to destroy our attack. I switched to Surf, but he used a full restore, so although we did some great damage, it wasn't enough for a knockout. Plus, the Sunny Day really made it weaker. Our next hit did better, but our Mirror Coat took us out, so we had to send in Miss Magius to finish it off with one Psychic. Hey, that was another first try, though. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Lucian. First up is Mr. Mime, who is just a one-shot with Shadow Ball, and I'm really thankful for that because a light screen right at the start of the fight would have made things a lot more difficult. Out to Perugly as Giraffrig came out, and I totally forgot that Shadow Claw is Ghost, not Dark, so it did absolutely nothing. Genius move on my part. We took a double hit to lose most of our health, and I just U-turned to back away and switch back to Mismagius so I could hit a Thunderbolt. That almost took Giraffrig out, but we got hit with a huge Shadow Ball. He healed up, we hit 2 Thunderbolts, he held on with a Sliver, we lost most of our health to Crunch, but then we took him out on the follow-up while we're in red health. Really not good. Next up is Alakazam, who's obviously a one-shot with Shadow Ball, and after that was Bronzong, so I sent in Bastiodon for a tank v tank fight. We got crit instantly to take a big chunk of damage, but the plan was still working, spamming Metal Sound. Now he was starting to undo it a little bit with Calm Mind, but we still wrecked his special defense. Now, I didn't want to switch and give him a free hit on anything, so I just stayed in until he Earthquaked us down, like he honestly should have just done from the start. Then I had Mismagius one-shot him with Shadow Ball. I'm so happy that I have Bastiodon with Metal Sound, it saved us so many times. Last is Medicham, who just went down in one Shadow Ball. That was a crazy fight. Finally, Pokemon Champion Cynthia. Now this took a lot of tries to figure out what order to do things in, because most of our team is just a way lower level than them. I started with Bastiodon against Spiritomb to hit Metal Sound, then switched to Mismagius. We got rocked with a huge Dark Pulse, but Shadow Ball was a one-shot. Trust me, Spiritomb is a nightmare to take down. Second is Roserade, and we leave her with only yellow health with Psychic, but then she used Sludge Bomb, literally her worst move she could have picked. We healed up, but it's fine. 2 Psychics finished her off. She could have taken us down if she didn't just pick random moves. Next is Gastrodon, so I sent in Perugly. I went for Slash, but it really didn't do much considering they're 17 levels higher than us. We got rocked by Sludge Bomb, hit another Slash for a bit of damage, then went down. At least it was enough damage that Mismagius could come back in and hit a Shadow Ball for big damage, but it wasn't a knockout. We got lucky, and Stone Edge missed us though, so we could hit Shadow Ball, drop her special defense, and thanks to that, the next one took her out. Out to Palkia as Melodic came out, and you'd think I would go for Dragon Pulse, but I've learned my lesson and spammed Brick Break instead. It doesn't do much, but most of the time she uses Mirror Coat so nothing happens. Once in a blue moon she uses Surf, and that hardly hurts us, but after a billion Brick Breaks, she heals up with a full restore. Eventually, she starts using Ice Beam, and that hurts us a lot more. Then she uses Aqua Ring to start healing every turn, so our Brick Break is doing even less. It took a long time, but we fainted to an Ice Beam while her health was reasonably low, so we could just finish it with a Thunderbolt from Mismagius. Second from last is Lucario though, and this thing's a beast. I had Bastiodon start using Metal Sound, but the moment he used Aura Sphere, we went down. I had Mismagius hit a Psychic to take it to an absolute sliver before we went down. Ouch. That was my best of many tries. Well, most of our team is a way lower level than theirs, so I'm surprised I even got that far. Let's get some levels on our lower leveled members of the team and get them up to 55, then we might stand a chance. It'll still be lower than them, but that's alright. Alright, many more tries later because the AI loves using random moves. Right away we get our Metal Sound in as Spiritomb just uses Embargo. We switch to Mismagius and don't take much damage off Psychic, then we one-shot her with Shadow Ball. That's a better start than usual. Roserade is out second, and she still uses Sludge Bomb and wastes a full restore, so we two-shot her like last time. Third is Gastrodon, so I sent in Palkia to try Dragon Pulse. It really didn't do a ton, but neither did their Sludge Bomb, so we just hit a Dragon Pulse again. But this time it crit for the much-needed knockout. Next is Garchomp, so I just stayed in. Despite being 11 levels higher than us, and probably able to take us out with Earthquake, it missed a Dragon Rush, so we hit a huge Ice Beam to bring her to red health. Then she used a Berry to heal up a little bit. She hit Giga Impact on the next turn, but we hung on with red health to get the knockout with an Ice Beam. Maybe we're gonna get somewhere this time. Lucario was next, so I sent in Bastiodon, and instead of one-shotting us with Aura Sphere, she used Psychic twice in a row, so we hit Earthquake twice in a row to bring her to red health. She used a full restore, we Earthquaked again, then he hit us with Earthquake to take us out. Okay, well, we've got him to about half health, so I just sent in Mismagius to Thunderbolt him down to red. We took a hit to bring us to only 56 health, then we finished him off. Melodic is next, and without a good answer, I sent in Perugly. My goal was to soften her up enough that Mismagius would be able to Thunderbolt for the win. We used Attract right away, and she was missing tons of turns. She got an Aqua Ring in early, and we weren't hurting her much with body slams, but we crit one early to take her to low health, and she just couldn't use any of her moves. It didn't take long before we actually got the knockout. That ending went so well. Honestly, if not for Mirror Coat, I would have just used Thunderbolt from the beginning. That was a fun run, but these version-exclusive runs always are. It's funny, usually a team run where we get to use 3 or 4 Pokemon is fast because we get a few Pokemon to use, but not so many that it's excessive for grinding. But because Diamond and Pearl runs so slowly, it still took a while. I'm looking forward to when I do the Black and White exclusive runs. I haven't looked at the list of Pokemon I'll be using for those yet, but I hope we get a full team, just for the sake of variety. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual, with Shuckle in Pokemon White 2. I'm always looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Alright, outro time. Man, I've been so busy lately. Between trying to fix my sleep schedule and how on November 1st, Haven and Hearth just released a new world and came out on Steam. I've been playing that game for 10 years off and on. I love it. So playing that a lot with the community has been fun over on Discord. We were setting up, we should have a village by the time that this video airs, so that's pretty cool. Right now we just have a nice little camp, and it looks like we finally found a place that we're gonna move and make our village, but it's always hard to say, It's a game that moves at a fast pace. I want to get back to doing some Fallout and Elder Scrolls challenges soon. I can't say exactly when, because it's a little bit up in the air, but I'd like to get back to that soon. It's just so hard to commit the time to it. So I think what I might do is stream some recording sessions of it, because I feel like streaming recording sessions of Bethesda games isn't so bad. When I do Pokemon games, I'm usually getting up and walking a lot and planning things out a lot, and I kind of break it up into chunks across a week more, whereas when I do Bethesda games, I tend to do it in like 2 or 3 big recording sessions, you know? So I feel like that is more conductive to a streaming environment. So I could do that to like kill 2 birds with 1 stone, you know? Like it would get some streaming in, and it would also get an extra challenge in. Mind you, I wouldn't be doing it like every week or anything, or every other week, because it's a lot of extra work. And the editing for those Bethesda challenges takes a lot longer because, you know, I'm doing like silly, goofy edits and making jokes and stuff, and it takes longer to hunt through the footage to find just the right moment and edit it to look just nice. Whereas with Pokemon, the editing is actually really, really easy, you know? You just can record every separate attempt on a battle as its own little bit of footage, and then it's very, very easy to skim through and find the footage that you're looking for. Not as easy with like Fallout and Bethesda stuff in general, but it's really fun, and I really like doing those runs, and it's been such a long time, so I'd really like to get back to that. That said, I've got so many things to do, I have so many series to continue, I want to get more RimWorlds done, because I love RimWorld. I've been doing more Project Zomboid with my friend Calippi, that's been really fun. Just so many series I want to do all at the same time, and I'm also fixing my sleep right now. It's 3 in the morning? I woke up at 11, I guess you would call it yesterday. I woke up at 11 last night. Oh, what was it? I stayed up for 22 hours the other day. I went to bed at, I think it was 3 p.m.? 2 or 3 p.m.? Something like that. 1 or 2 p.m. probably. Then I woke up at 11 p.m. And now it's 3:20 in the morning, and I'm gonna try and stay awake until like 8 p.m. tonight, and then I'll sleep, I don't know, 10 hours, hopefully, 10 to 12 hours, and then I'll be up at a reasonable time. My insane method for trying to get my sleep schedule back on track. Look, all the guides online tell you, like, oh, go to bed slightly earlier over and over and over. Never works for me. I've tried that for years. Never works for me. Anytime that I need to actually fix my sleep, the only thing that ever seems to end up working is staying up way later for a couple days and fixing it over the course of 2 or 3 days by pushing it forward, rather than trying to claw it back slowly. So, yeah, hopefully it'll work this time. We'll see. Until then, I'm fueled by coffee. Okay, I gotta get this edit done. I've got so much work to do. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.